Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise, pull out those key bits of knowledge you need, and do it fast. You're listening because you want insight, right? And today, well, we're diving into something that really touches all of our daily lives, sometimes without us even fully realizing it. Okay, let's unpack this.
So today's deep dive, it's all about getting comfortable with and actually using those common English phrases about the environment. And just to be clear, we're not getting bogged down in, political arguments or super complex science here. This is really about the natural, everyday ways people talk about nature, the planet, how our actions fit in, the kind of chat you might hear at work, maybe see in the news or just scrolling online.
Right. So the mission, really, for this deep dive is to give you that practical vocabulary and, importantly, the context behind it. We want you to feel confident, maybe even, insightful when you're talking about things like climate change or recycling or pollution, just in normal, casual situations. Think of it as a bit of a shortcut, maybe, to sounding not just like you know the words, but that you're genuinely fluent in these pretty important conversations.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you think about what talking about the environment actually covers. It's quite broad. It can be anything from, say, how much waste we make to trying to use less plastic, discussions about global warming, renewable energy, and even that phrase you hear a lot, going green.
Mm.
But the key thing, I think, is that you really don't need to be some kind of expert to join in. Just simple things like saying, oh, I try to recycle when I can, or even, wow, the weather's been so weird lately, hasn't it? That counts. That's an environmental conversation.
Okay, so how do we connect these big environmental topics to just our everyday chat? That's what we're digging into. And we sort of honed in on three key phrases that are really useful tools for this. Those are go green, carbon footprint, and single-use plastic. We're going to break them down so they're easy to get and, more importantly, easy for you to actually start using.
Great. Let's start with go green. Fundamentally, this phrase just means choosing a more environmentally friendly way of doing things, whether it's your lifestyle or maybe a business approach. It's super versatile. It could mean something small, like deciding, okay, I'm going to bike to work this week, or it could be huge, like a whole company changing its operations to cut down its environmental impact.
Okay, but when, say, a big company or even just the local coffee shop says they're going green, how do we know if it's real or if it's just, good marketing? Is there that risk of greenwashing?
Ah, yes, that's a really important point. It absolutely brings up greenwashing. So when a company says it goes green, the idea is they're adopting eco-friendly practices.
Yeah.
But greenwashing, well, that's when they claim they're being green, maybe focusing on one small thing, but aren't actually making big, significant changes overall. It can be more about looking good, the marketing side, than real environmental effort. The trick really is to look for specifics. Like, what are they actually doing? Is there data? Not just vague statements, but for individuals, when someone says, I'm trying to go green, it's usually pretty sincere, like, I'm trying to go green by using reusable bags now, or maybe, our office is going green this year, less paper, less plastic. It usually signals a genuine intention.
That makes sense. A difference between corporate claims and personal efforts.
Okay.
And speaking of impact, another phrase you hear constantly when we talk about our effect on the planet is carbon footprint. This one sounds a bit more technical, maybe. What's it actually measuring?
Yeah, it can sound a bit sciencey, but your carbon footprint is basically a measure of the total greenhouse gases produced because of your actions, both directly and indirectly. And while we often just say carbon or CO, it actually stands for a whole range of gases that trap heat in the atmosphere. What's kind of interesting is how it became so common. It was really pushed back in the early 2000s, often by energy companies, actually. They wanted consumers to picture their own individual impact, which, arguably shifted some focus onto personal choices.
Ah, okay. So it's a shorthand for a bigger basket of gases, a way to simplify our impact.
Got it.
So if someone says, I want to reduce my carbon footprint, what kinds of things are they usually talking about doing?
Exactly. It could be a whole range of things. They might mean flying less often, or taking the train or bus instead of driving, or maybe eating less meat since livestock farming has a significant footprint, or switching their home energy to a renewable supplier. So you might hear someone say, yeah, flying transatlantic really bumps up your carbon footprint, or I'm trying to lower my carbon footprint by cycling more. It's a really useful and natural way to talk about sustainability or climate actions.
Okay, and the third one, we picked out a phrase that feels like it's everywhere now, especially when talking about waste, is single-use plastic. What does that really cover?
Right. Single-use plastic, it's pretty much what it sounds like. Plastic stuff that's designed just to be used once and then thrown away. So think plastic straws, maybe disposable cutlery, those little water bottles, coffee cup lids, even those thin plastic bags you get at the supermarket sometimes. And the reason this phrase is so common now is because there's this huge global push to cut down on these items. They're a massive source of ocean pollution, they break down into microplastics, and, well, they stick around for hundreds of years.
Right, so it's not just the obvious litter we see, but these tiny, long-lasting consequences too. And you hear it used like, oh, a lot of cafes have stopped giving out single-use plastic straws now. Or, personally, I always try to carry my own water bottle to avoid buying single-use plastic ones.
Hmm.
Definitely seems like a key term if you're talking about recycling or sustainability or just, keeping up with environmental news.
Exactly. And to kind of bring these phrases to life, let's just listen to a quick imagined conversation. Picture two friends, let's call them Sarah and Tom, just grabbing a coffee. Listen for how these terms might pop up naturally.
Okay, sounds good. Sarah. Hey, Tom, you heading out? We're just going to grab another coffee.
Nah, work's done. And actually, I brought my own keep cup today, trying to cut down on single-use plastic.
Oh, nice one. Yeah, I totally get that. I've been trying to go green a bit more myself. Even started composting food scraps.
Really? That's great. And I guess composting helps reduce your carbon footprint too, right?
Exactly. Every little thing helps, I figure.
Okay, so did you hear how easily those phrases came up there? Tom kicks it off, mentioning he's trying to cut down on single-use plastic, straightforward, refers to avoiding things like disposable cups.
Yeah, very natural. And then Sarah jumps in, saying she's been trying to go green.
Mm.
It's just a nice, simple way to say she's aiming to be more eco-friendly. In her case, she mentions composting.
Right. And Tom links it back perfectly by saying composting probably helps reduce your carbon footprint.
Hmm.
That's spot on, connecting a specific action, composting, to its broader environmental benefit using that key phrase. And the whole exchange just felt like, well, like normal chat, didn't it? Just friends talking, using this vocabulary without it sounding awkward or forced.
Definitely. So, okay, wrapping this up for you, the listener, what does this all mean? We've just done a practical deep dive into using three really common, really useful English phrases for talking about the environment. Go green, carbon footprint, and single-use plastic.
Mm.
And we've seen how they can add a bit more precision, maybe a bit more relevance to your conversations.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, knowing how to use these phrases really does make your environmental discussions sound more natural, you sound more confident, and frankly, more current. They kind of help you upgrade from maybe more basic ways of talking about it and just make that friendly small talk about the planet flow a bit better.
So here's a little challenge for you this week. See if you can weave just one of these phrases into a real conversation. Maybe chat with a friend, a colleague, or you can even try it in a social media post if you use English online. Something simple like, thinking I might try to go green this summer, or trying to reduce my carbon footprint by walking instead of driving to the shops.
And maybe this brings up a bigger question for you to think about.
Yeah.
What's one small, impactful thing you could contribute this week? Not just with actions, but maybe even with the words you choose to use. Stay curious, stay kind, and hey, maybe plant a tree. Or just think about the story behind the next plastic bottle you see.